If you want to become a nail tech but you have no idea where to start, this is how you become a nail tech. Hi, my name is Mackenzie. I'm a 22-year-old nail tech who has 3 years of experience, and this is what you need to do in order to become a nail tech. Starting off, whichever state you are in, you need to get licensed. How do I become licensed? The first step is enrolling in a cosmetology or manicure school. For those who don't know, under a cosmetology license, you can legally do nails, hair, facials, waxing, like you can do anything. But if you just want to do nails, you can do manicure school. How long do I have to go to school for? My cosmetology school was 1,000 hours. So I was part-time and I was there for 1 year. What if I don't want to do cosmetology? What if I just do manicures? Correct me if I'm wrong, but in Texas, I think you only have to complete 600 hours. How much does this school cost? My personal school was $16,000, and I did qualify for financial aid. But different schools can vary, and not all schools accept financial aid. Okay, now I'm in school. Now what? Once you completed the mandatory hours that is needed for the school in the state that you're in, you will then need to complete 2 tests. Wait, so when I graduate, I'm not licensed? No, unfortunately, you're not licensed. You will need to pass a written exam, which my written exam was 100 questions, and you will need to complete a practical exam, which my practical exam was 12 sections. Okay, do you have to pay for these tests? Unfortunately, you do. My test for my written exam was $50, and my test for the practical was $72. Once you complete those tests, you're still not licensed, technically. You then have to apply for a license. So the day you pass your test, you have your paper, it says pass. You will then follow the instructions on that paper. For my paper, it said that I had to mail it back to this and this and like sign it so that I can get my license. And I also have to pay the payment, and I want to say it was like $70 for my license. Okay, I did all that. Am I licensed now? Yes, now you're licensed. What are your options from there? You can work in a nail salon, you can work in a private suite, you can work out of your house. What do I recommend just starting out of nail school? I personally just started home based. That's all I ever did. And recently, this year is when I got my nail suite. But I have heard that working at a nail salon does help with clientele and experience, so maybe check that out. If you want to know how to gain clients and keep your clients, go to my next video and I'll be sharing all the tea. And make sure to follow me for more inspo if you want to be a nail tech.
If you want to start doing a nail business but don't know where to start, watch this video while I pack more press-ons. Okay, so the first step of what I did is obviously buy all my nail supplies. I bought everything on Amazon, including a nail lamp, a kit, all the nail polishes, everything. Here's a really good kit when you want to do nails. Next is practice. Before you want to start doing people's nails or selling press-ons, you want to practice and perfect your work. It did take me a few months because I really wanted to be good at nails until I started doing other people's nails. Next, when you think you're ready to start owning your business, this is where social media comes in. I think social media is the best way to promote your business. You want to come up with a name, and then you want to put everything in your bio, where you're located and your prices. Obviously, when you start, you don't want to start off too expensive, but when you start growing your business, you are probably going to up your prices. For me, when I started, I picked my name, I put my prices, and I put where I'm located. Then afterwards, you want to start doing other people's nails. It can just be friends or families, and then you want to start posting them on social media. I used Instagram, and I think it's the best way to promote your business if you don't want to post on TikTok. And please do not be scared to follow your friends. Just follow your friends, and that's how other people are going to see, and then they're going to start following you. And I'm going to tell you that once you start your business, you are not going to have a ton of clients right away. It takes time to get clients. When I started, I did not have a bunch of clients. I probably had about 1 client every 2 weeks. And that's okay because that's how you learn it. Another way, if you aren't getting much clients but you want to grow your clientele, you can also do discounted sets. So if your prices are already low but you want to do discounted sets, you just pick a bunch of hard designs and then you put the price a normal price, but you would probably put it for more. And you just need to pick the sets that you think everyone would like. That's one way that I grew my clientele when I first started. The biggest tip I would probably give you is be consistent on social media, because if you just post 2 times a month, That's not how you are gonna grow your clientele, if that makes sense. You need to be posting your sets, posting consistently, keep practicing, and do not give up. But I promise you, you are gonna grow. Another big thing for me is being organized and writing in a plan book. Obviously, if you don't have much clients, it's still good to have a plan book. A little planner that I got probably from Marshalls or Burlington, and I just write all the clients I've had and how much money I made, as well as the money I spent from that. And the biggest thing you need to have is motivation, and just remember that there are going to be hard times where you do not have enough clients, or you probably just feel like giving up because you think your nail sets aren't good, and trust me, I felt like that many times. Also, another tip is when you are doing your social media, when you're posting on Instagram mostly, you do want to put your location on it. So you just like at the location. Also, that's a bunch of does. That's where people are like on their like feed, and then they can see where you're located. You also want to give your clients the best service you can give them. But that's it. I'm also going to be doing a video of everything you should need when you start Gel-X and stuff you don't need. So yeah, bye guys.
When I first started making press-on nails 1 year ago, one of my most burning questions for other creators is, okay, but what is your process from start to finish? So today, I'm showing you exactly how I make a set of press-on nails from start to finish to ensure the highest quality possible. So first thing I do is figure out what set I need to make. So I track it in the Tasks app, and I look at the style, the shape, and the size, and then I set up my stands. So this person ordered almond short, and I put the tips onto the stands, and then I prep them. So the first thing I do is I file them, but I forgot to film that, and then I buff each tip individually, and then remove any excess dust with just some alcohol. The next thing I do is pull the set I'm going to be working on. So this is my little like repertoire of pre-designed sets, and this is the one I'm working on today. So I set it up just for reference, and then get any tools I need in order to make that set. So any colors, any art, any brushes, I pull it all out, and then the first step is putting the base coat down. So I do 2 layers of base color, and then here I'm moving on to art. So I'm going to be doing some airbrush and some French tips today. Art can take me anywhere between like 45 minutes to 2+ hours, depending on how complex the set is, but so many of my sets I've managed to make complicated, so it can take quite a few hours. I'm only working on one set here, but often I'll work on more than one set at a time, especially if it's the same set. So here I'm doing French tip. I kind of like doing French tip. I find them a bit cathartic, but I know people can struggle. So if you have a nice long brush, it kind of takes all the shake out of your hand for you. Cure them, and then before I top coat, I just check to see if there's any little imperfections. File those away, and then move on to top coat. Top coat makes everything look better, but if everything underneath top coat isn't perfect, then your nails aren't going to be perfect. So I top coat them all, and here I really check from every angle to make sure there's no bubbles, no hairs, no nothing, so that they are glassy and perfect, because you can't undo it once they're cured. So once they're finished, I take them each off of the stands and inspect them individually, and then I pull out a mounting card. I design my mounting cards on Canva, I send them to a local print shop, and then I put these pre-cut double-sided pieces of tape on them, which I find really efficient. I mount them each, have one last look, and then I pop them into a sleeve to protect them. I'm not showing any of my shipping or like any of the work that goes in before I actually create a set. So I would have pre-designed this set, I would have taken photos of it, put it up on the website, and then dealt with orders. But for the sake of the length of this video, I'm just showing making the actual set itself. And that's it, they're done. They're ready to be packaged and shipped.
If you want to start your nail business but you don't know where to start, this is the video for you. Hi, my name is Sandra. I'm a nail tech. I've been doing nails for 3 years now and I have a very successful nail business. To give you a bit of background, this is how my nails used to look when I started. This is how my nails look now. Also, this was my availability back then and this was my availability last month. So you can see there is a progress. You can see the improvement there, but I never really struggled with my clientele before. I always have clients since I started, but I struggle in so many other areas. That's why I'm gonna give you the tea on everything, literally. If you see my videos, you can tell that I don't gatekeep, so I'm gonna give you the tea. In the meantime, I'm also gonna do my ice matcha, because listen, I love it, I'm obsessed with it. First thing you should do, you guys are gonna tell me that I'm so annoying with these, but you need to educate yourself. Please educate yourself and get a certificate. Or you wanna be a good nail tech, tech or the best nail tech. What you want to have clientele or being fully booked every single month. If you want to be the best nail tech ever, you need to be willing to learn from someone else that is better than you. Learn those tips and tricks and have a wide knowledge about nails so you can deliver the best to your clientele. Because even if you don't think so, your clientele really tell about which nail tech is good and which nail tech is not. And now you're probably gonna say, oh, I know how to do nails already. My nails looks very good right now. Like I don't have any problem with application or anything. So I'm just gonna continue like that. But now I tell you what you know about the nail anatomy, what you know about infections. If you have a client that comes back to you and says like, oh, I have this nail infected after you did my nails, what you're gonna say, what you're gonna do, what you're gonna recommend them. As a nail tech, you need to be ready for those situations. You can deliver the best service to your clientele. Once you have your nail certificate and you have a good understanding about nails, the next thing you need to do is design how your business is going to look. I'm talking about your logo, the colors that you want to represent your business as well. So everything about that, you need to create an aesthetic for your business. At the time, I didn't have a lot of money, so I used Canva to create my own logo. You can actually create your own logo there. It's very simple. You have a lot of templates. Just go there. Just gonna put the name down below, or I'm just gonna tag them directly so you can actually check the page out. It's so easy, literally, believe me. After you have your logo, you need to start creating your Instagram and TikTok. You put your logo as a profile picture. Then after that, you can start creating your bio. In your bio, you need to make sure that you put services, like what services you do: acrylic nails, gel nails, biop, then your location, where are you based. You don't have to put your whole location if you don't want to, you work from home, but you can put the area. For example, if you are based in London, you can put Southwest London. If you are based in Manchester, you can put Manchester City Centre. And you can also put your booking information, just let them know if they have to pay something like any deposit before booking with you or stuff like that. After you have that done, you need to create your scheduling website. This is where you put all your policies and all that information that you want your client to know before booking with you. Make sure that you cover lateness, no-shows, how you want your client to pay you, cash, card, all those things, so you won't end up losing a ton of money. Literally, believe me, make sure to do your policies. Scheduling website I use is called Acuity Scheduling. Very easy, very self-explanatory. You won't have any issue. But if you have any difficulties, you can always go to YouTube. There is tons of videos showing you how to create your Acuity Scheduling website from zero. Then you need to check what products you're gonna use on your clients. Make sure that the products that you're using are good quality. Some of my favorite brands that I'm using are Ionels, Young Nails, and Glitter Bells. Very good, affordable, and the nude powders are mwah. But if you want something more affordable just to practice, you can always check my Amazon storefront, which is link on my bio. Matcha is done, but I haven't finished with all the tips I want to give you. If you like this video, like and comment for part 2. In the meantime, send me a DM on Instagram with your struggles, what you want me to help you with, and I will literally reply. Follow for more.
Things you should know if you plan on opening a small business as a nail tech. When I tell you I had absolutely no clue where to start or what to do, I am not joking. So that's why I'm here to help if you are in that same situation. The very first thing you're going to want to do, and this depends on where you live, but you either want to get your license or some sort of training. I'm from Nova Scotia, and legally here you need your license in order to practice, so that was step number 1. After obtaining your license, you cannot just open shop. The next thing that you're going to want to do is apply and register for a business name. You're going to do this through Registry of Joint Stocks or whatever the equivalent of that is in other provinces. When you apply for your business name, there's a good chance it won't be approved at first because there's a lot of criteria that needs to be met. It can't be similar to any other business in the area, so do your research before applying for a name. Once that is finalized, you have your business name, then you will obtain your business number. This next one kind of depends on how much money you make or how much money you foresee yourself making. So in a lot of places, after you make a certain amount of money as a business, you are legally required to charge taxes. I'm assuming this number is different depending on where you live. However, it's something good to keep in mind as you're looking at your income for each month, because after a certain amount, you will need to get a tax number and charge taxes. Next up, you are going to want to create a business bank account that is separate from all of your personal finances. If you are a sole proprietor, you don't necessarily have to do this. However, it is going to make things a lot easier when keeping track of all your finances. You are also going to want to obtain business insurance, make sure that contents are covered, and also liability insurance. This next one, again, is going to be dependent on where you live, but again, in Nova Scotia, where I'm from, we have a regulating cosmetology association, and all of that information has to be registered within their system. They are going to need record of all of this information so they know for a fact you are an open and operating salon. They can drop in and do inspections. They can keep track of your education and if you upgrade at all, and also so that you can pay your fees, because where I'm from at least, you do need to pay fees each year to keep your license in good standing. So as I said multiple times, some of this stuff might be different depending on where you live, but hopefully this helped someone out, and if anyone has any questions, definitely let me know.
I'm finally making this video. Here's how to make your own press-on business. Also, please ignore the stain on my shirt. I was getting Starbucks and I was opening the door for someone and I didn't expect it to open that easily, so then it like bounced back on me and then the drink spilled on my shirt. So ignore that. But I'm finally going to be telling y'all how to make your own press-on business. Okay, first things first, you need to figure out where you're going to sell them. Are you going to just sell them on Instagram? Are you going to have a website? Are you going to make an Etsy, Depop, whatever? What I do is I have people DM me on Insta and then they pay me using either Venmo or PayPal. However, I am working on creating a website. Very exciting, but you need to figure out where you're going to sell them. Then you need to figure out how are you going to size the nails. I have used the quarter method. It's pretty accurate, but it scares me that it's not accurate, so I don't really use that. You can do sizing kits, which is what I do, or you can do like pre-made sizes where people like measure their nail, and then you're like, okay, well, like extra small is this millimeter, whatever. I think I'm going to start transitioning over to that just because sending out sizing kits just kind of takes forever. Then for shipping, do you want to ship internationally? Do you want to stay in the US? Like, what do you want to use to ship? I use Click and Ship, which is USPS, and it's just like a website or whatever. I don't know if I really like that method. I feel like it's not very reliable. I feel like it'll say that it'll arrive on the 7th, but then it'll actually arrive on like the 12th. Whatever. So like, how are you going to ship your nails? That's what I use, but there are so many different ways if you just look them up online. I just watched a lot of those clips back and I realized that I have a really bad RBF in that. It's just because it's really bright, so I'm like kind of like squinting, so please ignore that. I'm not mad at y'all, I promise. Okay, next thing is pricing. Do you want your prices to be set? Mine are set, so it doesn't matter how complicated or simple the designs are. My prices are set. Do you want them to change with the design, change with the length, whatever? But the factors that go into your pricing are how much your supplies cost, so then you can break even and make a profit, your time, how long it takes, and then your demand. So for example, my prices might be different compared to someone else's prices because I have a very high demand. So the more demand you have, more your prices are going to be. Like, I have hundreds of messages every single day and I cannot get to them, so my prices are higher. And then if a set takes you like a long time, then you also want to factor that into your price because time is very expensive. Okay, and then the last thing, I don't think I left anything out, but I don't know. You need to figure out where you're going to promote it. Are you going to have an Instagram? Are you going to have a TikTok? I do TikTok, but also a little bit of Instagram, whatever. But people can't buy from your business if they don't know about it, so you got to promote it somewhere. I know that people like will sell them at their local markets, which is so cool. They'll like make a whole like nail stand. Very cool. So you just got to figure out how are you going to promote. Okay, I think that was everything. I really hope that I didn't forget something, but if y'all have any questions or whatever, and if I did forget something, then just comment and I'll try and answer all of y'all's questions. But I will probably make a part 2 of this video on how to make your business actually successful. So yeah, comment if y'all have any questions. Bye guys.